And knowledge is not static. It keeps on changing and evolving. And the more it evolves, the more you're required to learn. So if you have an open heart to learning, leadership becomes easy. It's one way of making leadership very easy.
Main problem is inadequate resources and even inadequate finance, because CBC requires a lot of materials and resources as compared to the old system, because it's more of activity-based. And when something is activity-based, it is hands-on.
The first challenges is mobility, where the children are in the institutions. Sometimes the institutions are not mobility friendly, lack of ramps, and so it is not easy for them to move. When we come to the interaction with the gadgets, those learners without the limbs, the upper limbs, also lack the upper limbs. When it comes to gadgets like computers, there is a big challenge that you can't adapt to any of those computers, and so they miss out that.
I want to say one of the challenges that we experience is on the inadequacy of resources. For example, we are talking about laboratories. When the JSS began, we had no laboratories in our institutions. Here it is a situation where the learners are supposed to conduct experiments. How do they go about these experiments? Those are just case scenarios where we are facing challenges, the inadequacy of resources. In this case, the laboratories are not there.
I've been supporting them through doing development, curriculum development. We sit together, discuss issues about the problems that they are facing. We sit together and discuss. Then we are trying to provide Wi-Fi. We have not had Wi-Fi in the school because of the underfunding. So I'm trying to provide Wi-Fi for them so that teaching can be easy. Teaching and learning can be easy.
Training is a very important part of growth, and making sure that everything goes on well. Because most of the times there are things that we have learned that are either outdated, changes come, and we need to unlearn them. Sometimes when you tell somebody informally, when they get the information from the same people, it does not have the same impact as when you are put in a forum that allows you to share your ideas with people that are going through the same situation as you are.
As I said earlier, a lot of empowerment, a lot of retooling, and a lot of training. So I, myself, and as the head of institution of a private institution called Fairfield in Mombasa County, we are known to be doing a lot of retooling for our teachers, retooling, in-house retooling, where we source for the champions who have been trained by the KICD, the Ministry of Education, the Teacher Service Commission, who as the curriculum supporters. So they are able to come and facilitate those retooling in our school so that no teacher is left out. All the teachers are involved from the nursery section all the way to junior school level.
I've encouraged my teachers, especially those who are attending semester, to have links that learners can use, and then they can now engage even in virtual laboratory. That is the use of ICT in the doing of experimentations. So we are using virtual laboratories where we may not be in a position to have a physical laboratory in a school, like in my situation. So the virtual laboratories are there, they are working, and learners are able to follow through what the teacher is teaching without necessarily having to go to a physical lab.
We have the stakeholders, that is the parents, the BOM. We come together. That is like we have created a lab, a temporary lab, whereby they do their work within the school, and what we cannot, we get from the neighboring institutions, the high schools that we have. And the children also participate in using the local materials to assist us.
I'm lucky as a school, I have a school farm whereby I've planted most of the things that we may need for the practicals. Children have gone to the shamba for agriculture and planted their own vegetables and fruit plants and what. It may not be enough, but it has really assisted in mitigating some of this problem, inadequacy of the resources.
As a school leader, continuous training is very important, because as a leader, you must be a reader. So you need to get the emerging issues, what changes are there, because education is dynamic. So it changes from one time to another. So we need a lot of information and knowledge as we lead the school.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get an opportunity that is very timely. This is an area that as school leaders we struggle, despite our much reading, despite there's so much consultation. Sometimes you get ideas that are contradicting, you are not so sure. When I leave this place, I am leaving as somebody who is knowledgeable. I will be making my decisions in the school from a point of knowledge. So for me, I'm excited to be here. It's something that I'm not expecting, but something good that has happened.
The challenges that mostly are found in schools, you will find that there is teacher shortage. There is also lack of infrastructure. Mostly those two affect the school setup. And before we even, or TSC, send some teachers to our schools, we use the primary school teachers to teach those learners in the junior schools. Now, when they came, still we found that they are not enough. They are not adequate to teach those lessons or the learners. And therefore, what we also do, you find that we have now to take some teachers
So good morning.
Good morning.
So participants, it's yet another beautiful day, and we would like to start our sessions this morning. Just like we did yesterday, before we start our session, we would like to perhaps request one of us to start us off with a word of prayer. Just raise up your hand. Or even unmute and lead us in a word of prayer as we start our session this morning. We can have one of our Muslim brothers from Isiolo leading us in a word of prayer. Or Roba. Or can we request Faith Moema kindly start us off? Faith Moema from Transzoia.
Yes. Let's
Kindly start us off with a word of prayer.
pray. Our Heavenly Father in heaven, we come before you this morning with thanksgiving. Thank you, Father, is yet another day that we are meeting to deliberate about our leadership and our schools. We commit ourselves unto your able hands. We also commit our facilitators in your able hands. Be with us as we start till we finish. Grant us your grace. In Jesus' name we pray and believe.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Faith, for
Welcome.
that word of prayer and for starting us off. Colleagues, we want to start our day and we will be reviewing the last unit of our course, and perhaps it's also good to get to hear before we even review our unit today what we also learned yesterday. So I'd like to request one of us to perhaps briefly recap what we learned yesterday in unit 4 and 5. But just one to recap for us unit 4. We shall pick on another one to recap for us unit 5. What did we learn yesterday? You can pick on any of the units that we learned and perhaps share with us what we learned. Who is willing to do that? Edwin Birech, you are with us yesterday. Are you in a position to tell us what we learned yesterday? Edwin Birech? Andrew Omukule? Does it mean we were not in class yesterday? Fatuma? That means we never learned anything yesterday. Faith, were you in class?
Yes, I was in class.
Yes, can you share with us what we learned?
Yesterday, we were reviewing Unit 4 on effective resource management, on how we can use the limited resources well, about the planning, that is school planning, the budget, the strategic plan, and all that. Then we also went over the financial literacy, the internal control registers in our schools, the risk management in our schools, and the procurement and store management. That's the overview we did yesterday on effective resource management. And I remember we had a case study to undertake what we do in the activities we're supposed to take in preparation for a science laboratory. Yeah? That was a case study when we went to our groups. Thank you. That is about
and perhaps what process did we discuss as we were looking at that particular case? The procurement process, isn't it?
The procurement process, we talked about to publish a notice for the tender. Then we receive the bids, open the bids, evaluate, then we award the bidder. We receive acceptance, sign the awarding contract. We sign the contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Faith, for giving that opportunity for actually recapping what we learned yesterday in Unit 4 on effective resource management. Ideally, we talked about the fact that we were able to look at accounting documents, the planning process that involves the preparation of the procurement plans, the budget, and of course, we also looked at length the procurement process through actually an activity that was done in the breakout room, and we were able to identify, of course, quite the steps that are followed in the procurement process and ethical practices that can occur as we did with that particular process, the risks that are also involved as we undertake the same process, and that's quite elaborate even from your end. So we also were able to look at another unit, and I would like also to hear from the plenary what we also learned in Unit 5 before perhaps we look at Unit 6. Thank you, Faith, for that. Who can volunteer to also give us some insights on what we discussed yesterday in Unit 5? I believe we were all in class as we are represented here. So a volunteer to give us some insights on what we discussed in Unit 5. And perhaps you can even say what it was all about. What did we learn in Unit 5? Judith? Kindly unmute. Obanda Joe.
Yeah.
Yes. Just tell us briefly what we learned in Unit 5.
My network.
We can hear you. Obanda is talking about the network. Who can give us some brief insights into what we learned in Unit 5? Unit 5 was on learner and teacher welfare. But what did we learn about teacher and learner welfare? Who can share with us some insights on teacher and learner welfare? What is happening today? Are we in class? Peter Boogie? Yes, proceed, Obanda. Obanda seems to have some serious challenges of network. Colleagues, perhaps at the interest of time, yesterday we also looked at Unit 5, which was about teacher and learner welfare. And it's important that, of course, anytime you go through, of course, some session of learning, we are able to recall a few issues. Of course, here we looked at what the school leadership could put in place to ensure that, of course, there is a teacher and learner welfare with an effort to ensure that, of course, we look at quite a number of dimensions of safety and creation of a conducive learning environment geared towards ensuring that the performance of our teachers, the performance of our learners is high, and ideally we talked about ensuring that the general wellness for our learners and for our teachers, with an effort to ensure that, of course, we motivate them, an effort to ensure that the environment for learning is quite good. And we looked at quite a number of learner support a number of programs that we can institute to ensure that, of course, there is teacher and learner welfare in our schools. Ideally, we talked about psychosocial support for our learners and for our teachers. We also talked about how best we can ensure there is safety for our learners within the school environment, alongside other critical areas that all get towards ensuring that we improve on the learning outcomes through the creation of a favorable working environment, through the creation of a conducive learning environment. So I would like to still request that we go back to our notes and ensure that we are also able to refresh on what specifically we've been covering. It's not good that, of course, we get to forget what we learn. And I want to appreciate those who are actively engaged in the process of learning, so that at least we also get some skills, some that can help us practice at our level in our schools as school leaders. At this point in time, I would like to welcome my colleague, Elijah, to start us off with the review of Unit 6, which is really about institutional governance. So over to you, Elijah.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So,
good morning.
Thank you very much. Because today people are very quiet, so I don't want to talk alone. That is why I want to hear from you whether you are still allowed, so that I may not end up talking alone I can see we have allowed 17 of us. So kindly let us unmute our mic when we are requested to do so that we can have an interactive session, or else we will not be able to learn. Don't fear to unmute and say anything so that our session will be interactive. So today we are going to deal with Unit 6 on institutional governance. And anytime you hear governance, we are talking about the aspect of decision making. So we are going to deal with aspects of that you may consider when you're making decisions, because decisions are made based on certain data, based on certain law, or based on certain information that you have collected. We talk of evidence-based decision making. And before we begin, you have already covered this unit during your self-paced. I want to hear from one of you when you are undertaking your self-paced learning. What are some of the insights you are able to get from this unit, which you think they are critical in application in your school, or you have already started applying in your school? You can open your mic, tell me one or two when you are going through the unit. What is so critical that you came across that you think you need to apply it in your school, or you are already or something that you're already applying in your school? Somebody open your mic, because some of you have already have 100% completion, meaning you read the unit and you are applying the skills. I don't want to call you by name. Just unmute your mic. Josephine Simiu. Anything you came across when you are going through the unit 6? Or Adan, Sora? Edwin, Biresh. Now, what is happening today? Peter.
Okay, about what you have already done in our school is example that making of the school committee, where I was established the primary and the junior school committee, where we got the committee, the subcommittee from the main school, which was primary school, and the committee is it comprises of the head of the institution, who is the secretary. You have the BOM chairman, who is the member. You have teachers, representative, parents, and local community as the representative. Then we have persons with disability. Then people with special interest group who are represented by at the committee, and then you have the sponsor as a representative. That we have already done, which we also learned at that, where we have the governance at chapter 6. Hello.
So thank you, Peter. You are referring now to the guidelines that were issued.
Yes.
To do with the juniors. So thank you very much, Peter. Another person. Peter have gave us the governance in school, that is Constitution of Junior School Committee, that is extracted from the BOM of the primary school, and he has given us the composition. I don't think he has said that the chair of the BOM is a member, not the chair of the committee. So thank you. Another person who learned something. A whole unit, you may not have missed to have learned something, especially those who are waiting for certification, who have 100% completion. Anybody else? Yona. or Helen Washana? Obada John. John, if you're able to talk to us, you can talk to us. Anybody else? Madam Faith Mwema.
Hello.
Okay, John, go ahead.
I don't know that I'm noisy or I'm audible.
You're audible.
Am I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think on governance, what I've already established is that apart from the board of management and the junior school subcommittee, am I on?
Yes, go on. Go on, John.
There's also a students' council as part of the governance, which is a go-through election. I have my staff has also been assigned specific responsibilities, which I have heads of departments, which spearhead every department. And on the side of stakeholders and engagement, we are fully using the provincial administration.
Go on. I think we have lost John. Thank you, John, for the point that you have given us concerning how you're involving the staff and stakeholder. Adan, your mic was on.
On basis, we have a nearby flower farm, which we invite also in school.
Okay, Adan, your mic was on. So if there is nobody else with a contribution, thanks John and Peter for that insight. But we are expecting almost each and every person to have given. Josephine Simiu, your mic is on.
Okay, we also looked at the roles of the school leader in management of JS, and some of just a few to mention were to monitor curriculum, to ensure adherence to school policies, to manage school finances, budgets and procurement, to resolve conflicts, to organize professional development programs, among many others. Yeah.
Thank you, Josephine, for giving us the roles. Thank you so much for that contribution. Then let me go to Joseph.
Thank you so much.
Joseph, unmute and make your comment.
In every institution, decision making is very critical. So in our institution, we make of course decision is a part of a leadership. So in our institution, we make a responsibility sharing. Especially we came with the subject planning and subject sharing. Every teacher which has been mandated for a certain responsibility, it is the leader, is leaderships, is the one leading the team. He also involve our board management, which is also very critical. Especially we analyze what is our institution problems. And we came, especially we had a challenge in junior schools, especially human capacity, that is teachers on sciences, specifically the ones which have been sent is only for humanities and arts. And especially now grade 9, which is very critical, very important. They also need to be involved in many subject practicals. So we sit down as a board of management, we make a decision, and we call the parents. We involve the situation, our problems, and we have employed two BOM teachers who are dealing with particularly sciences. In terms of payment, it's now the parents and the other stakeholders we have involved. We are the one now take an initiative to pay. And since we have solved that issue in terms of sciences, we are seeing the curriculums and effective learning in terms of curriculum delivery. It is well.
Okay, thank you very much, Joseph, for that explanation. I can see you are making a lot of stride and effort in your institution in terms of governance. That is what I was looking from the other members. So I believe if now I give other people a chance, they will be able to give such insight. That is what we are looking at. What are you doing in order to ensure that your school are learning, despite the many challenges that are there in your institution? So those are the areas that we covered under that unit. That is legal. I was expecting something like legal and policy framework that you are following up in your school. What competencies did you acquire as a leader? In terms of IBQA, how are you implementing the 5 dimensions that we took you through? The 5 dimensions that we took you through. In terms of infrastructure, how do they look like? Are they inclusive? Are school learner friendly? How are you monitoring the curriculum, even the implementation in your institution, monitoring the facility? And what good governance practices are you undertaking? At the end of the day, then you will see that you are able to apply what we are training you. So those are some of the areas I was expecting you to do. Now there is a task I want you to do. I want in 2 minutes, since we took you through the junior school implementation guidelines on the chart, identify the main highlight of those guidelines. Already some have been mentioned. The first speaker, Peter, mentioned something, and I referred to the guidelines. When he talked about the committee, those are some of the main highlights. What else are in those guidelines? Apart from the constitution of junior school committee from the board of management of primary school, what else is in those guidelines? 2 minutes, put it in the Zoom chat. You can write 1, you can write 2, but make sure that you write something. I did put something on junior school implementation guidelines. I'm waiting for the response. You type, then you submit. I'm yet to receive any feedback from you on junior school implementation guidelines. Even if you're in a matatu, you are traveling, I believe you can do that using your smartphone. So wherever you are, does not prevent you from using your smartphone to respond. This one, you only need to access the Zoom chat, and then thank you, Maureen Wasike. You are saying the roles of parent to cater for their children's meal and uniforms. Thank you, Wasike, for that. I'm still waiting for more. At least write something to register your places. I know you registered when you are logging in, but write something. Naftali, accountability and transparency is key in matter of governance in our junior school. I hope that one is contained in the guidelines. So far, I have 2 from Maureen, and from Naftal. I'm still waiting for more.
Can I share?
Either type or on the Zoom chat. Then leader Oba, seamless transition.
Aye.
Or Joseph in 10 seconds. What is it? What is there in the guideline? 10 seconds. What is there in the guidelines?
I'm just sharing.
Okay.
In terms of co-curriculum activity, there is that inclusion of Kenya Primary Junior School Sports Association. It was inclusive earlier. Before it was Kenya Primary School Sports Association, but there is this circular from the ministry, so juniors, it has been also included. So in every for co-curriculum activity with from the sub-county up to the county, up to the regional, up to the national level, junior schools has been included.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Then in the chat, I can see Dida Oba talking about seamless transition. So, and then Faith Mwema, provision of learner needs by parent, 100% transition. Then Maureen Wasike, JS to be domiciled in primary. Those are the things that we're looking at. Where will JS be domiciled? Now, those are the guidelines. Those are the guidelines. Those are the things that you have read this guideline. Domiciling, we have been told by Wasika that junior school to be domiciled in primary, governance and leadership, the committee that Peter talked about at the beginning, the subject to be done in terms of curriculum implementation, assessment, both SBA and CBA, the quality assurance, we will be doing quality assurance data, and the formation of IBQ committee in each school, and the issue of quality indicator, what we are supposed to do to know that there is quality in your school. Infrastructure, how the school should be sharing infrastructure. If it is junior school and the nearby secondary school, the teaching staff, they want to be deployed by TSC. Issues of honor welfare and critical is counseling, mentorship, and support services to be provided to junior school learners and the co-curricular activities. Financial management, who will be operating the account, separate bank account, and should be done in line with regulation, that is Financial Management Act, and policy and regulation framework. That is the international policies guiding education in Kenya. So that is what we are expecting from you. So make sure that you familiarize yourself again with those guidelines, which are likely to change going forward with the new. And at this point, I want to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Siru, to pick up from here.
Thank you, Elijah, for starting us off, and actually for trying to give a background on institutional governance as a unit, and perhaps we want to appreciate those who've made efforts in trying to also give us a background of what they've been able to learn in this particular unit. Colleagues, as we move towards making progress in the review of this particular unit, we would now like to engage in an activity, and we still would request that we really, today seemingly most of us are too quiet, and now we are going to the breakout rooms, and I would request that at least in our breakout rooms, we actually ensure that we actively participate. Let's have active participation in breakout rooms, let us ensure that we get some leadership of the group. And then, of course, our secretary will present the findings of the discussion in the plenary. During this particular time, we would like us to focus on actually the dimensions of high BQA, the 5 thematic areas, which include leadership and management, curriculum organization and implementation, physical facilities and infrastructure, learner welfare, and community involvement. So I think we are not many. We are around 25, and we would request that we have 4 groups for this particular activity, where the first group will look at some assignments or an activity around leadership and management as a dimension of IBQA. The second group will look at an activity around curriculum organization and implementation. The third group will look at physical facilities and infrastructure. And the fourth group will look at learner welfare and community involvement. So we'll be sharing the specific activities that you'll be able to look into. And these specific activities will also actually be pasted in the chat forum, so that you can closely make reference to them even as we engage in the discussions in the breakout rooms. Kindly, we are calling upon all of us to actively participate and take the shortest time possible to give us feedback. We will only be in the breakout rooms for 15 minutes, and then of course we get back to the plenary for feedback on what we've learned. So I request the ICT to share the specific activities that go alongside each of the dimensions, so that even as we now break into the rooms, then we are aware of what we are required to do based on the group that will be assigned to us. Over to you. So welcome back to the plenary, and it's our hope that you have had some good discussions that are fruitful. At this point, I would like to invite the Secretary Group 1 to give us their feedback. Secretary Group 1.
Thank you so much. This is what Group 1 came up with under the leadership and management indicators. Number 1, we talked of when you enter the school, you will find a gate well labeled that is showing direction, bearing the name of the school, the vision, the mission, and motto, and also indicating the category of the school. If it is SNE and the part, the SNE they are offering, it has to be written on the gate. Number 2, we also talked of having a school charter showing each one's role and the time taken to be served. Number 3, we also came up with inclusivity in leadership. That is bringing everybody on board, especially those stakeholders you have within the school compound. Then another point, we also have to ensure that the school has been registered and normally done by the BOM, but under the custodian of the head teacher. Another point is having a school site plan, a strategic plan, curriculum implementation plan, like now the block timetable showing learning is going on. You also have to bear in mind that you need to avail the infrastructure, improvement plan, that is the SIP, the procurement plan, the budget, and what you intend to do in the school. Then also you have also to put in place or indicate showing the student leadership or student council, because they are there to assist you rule these learners that we have in place. Then the BOM meetings that runs across all the committees, showing that it is active and is implementing whatever you have passed. I think that is all for for group 1. If I've omitted any point, kindly members just come on board and assist. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Group 1, for that feedback. Perhaps if you have anything to add, you can raise up your hand so that we don't deny you the opportunity. And we want to really appreciate the team for identifying strategies and leadership and management as a dimension of IBQA. Perhaps I cannot see any hand up, and I would like to say that when we are looking at this particular dimension in terms of the indicators, we want to also ensure that we also understand this dimension from the perspective that there's quite a number of leadership, of course, lenses being the institution, and the BOM, of course, is the managing, the larger body that is responsible for the management of the institution. And this is assisted, of course, through by the BOM is assisted by the leadership of the school through the HOI, the deputies, the senior teachers, the student leadership, parents association, and all that. So you are right when you are mentioning the fact that the leadership of the school in this particular dimension, of course, we would rightly see some of the indicators through ensuring that, of course, the school is validly registered. So a valid registration of the school is actually a clear indicator of this particular dimension. We would like to see that there is resource provision through the leadership, that the leadership is also providing strategic direction. There is also supervision. And supervision, of course, cuts across quite a number of issues. There should be supervision of staff, the supervision of the curriculum, and supervision of the day-to-day running, the operations of the school, the day-to-day running of the school in the form of activities. There should also, we should see, of course, aspects of communication and collaboration within and without the school, whereby, of course, there's a linkage between the school and the community, the school and stakeholders. We should also see indicators that revolve around the leadership offering administrative support. And rightly what you put across, like, of course, when you're entering a school, you see, of course, the development of the school motto, the vision, the core values, and of course, the strategic plan of the school, as well as, of course, being able to identify and make priority for key strategic objectives of the institution. So these are some of the indicators that, of course, under this dimension, of course, can align well when we are talking about institutional-based quality assurance. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite my colleague perhaps to moderate the feedback for 2. Over to you, Elijah.
So group 2, we are supposed to discuss the dimension on curriculum organization and implementation. So we request the secretary to give us the feedback. Secretary, group 2.
For group 2, we talked about what he's just said, curriculum organization and implementation. So we started by noting down that junior school covers grades 7 to 9. And for the learning areas, we have the core learning areas and the optional ones. So for the core, we have English, Kiswahili, Kenya Sign Language, Swahili or Kenya Sign Language, maths, integrated science, social studies, religious studies, business studies, agriculture, technical studies, and the life skills, and then physical education and sports. And then we have the optionals, visual and performing arts, French, German, Arabic, indigenous languages, computer, and KSL. Then for the time, the lessons, we have weekly lesson schedules. And then in curriculum implementation, we have learner-centered, the approach is learner-centered, and it is also competence-based. It emphasizes on critical thinking, creativity, collaboration and communication competencies. Organization is in groups. We have project-based. We have a project inquiry method. We have the experiential learning, community service learning. Those are the ways that we deliver. And we also have integration of ICT in learning, which really emphasized. When it comes to assessment, formative, but we dwelt on formative assessment, where we assess by the methods that all know, which are observation, list, portfolio, and that's what we use at a formative level. And then
Okay, thank you, Madam Josephine. I think we have lost Madam Josephine, who was reporting on behalf of Group 2, but she was able to elaborate the main point on curriculum, organization, and implementation. And this area revolve around how the curriculum is organized, how it's implemented, how the teaching and learning is done, and how the evaluation is done. They have talked about the assessment and how to track even the student progression and achievement. So in this case, the role of the institutional-based quality assurance, curriculum organization and implementation will focus on one, for that to happen, you need to provide the adequate resources in terms of facilities, in terms of teaching aids, in terms of books. All resources must be available to ensure that curriculum is well implemented. Without the resources, then you have issues to do with the quality of teaching and learning that you'll be delivering in your school. Another aspect of curriculum organization is to ensure that teachers are well equipped with the skill and competencies to deliver curriculum effectively, meaning we need continuous capacity building of your teachers. It can be inset, that is within your school. There is various forms of capacity building. You can organize workshop, you can have mentorship, you can have student mentorship whereby an experienced teacher will support a newly employed teacher. There are various types of capacity building, or you can even enroll with a college for a course in order to gain skills. Like now, there have been training that have been taking place on CBE, so teachers should make an effort to participate, and those who participate should be peer trainers to those who do not participate. Then ensure that curriculum is monitored, its delivery effectiveness, and that is when we talk about lesson observation. That is where the role of HOD come in handy. That is how you monitor curriculum delivery. When you are looking at even the documentation that are being prepared by the teachers, you are monitoring whether they are doing the lesson plan. They are following the design in implementation, their record of work, or the documentation that the teacher is supposed to maintain. Then some inclusive education. Education should cater for each and every learner in your school, including adapting some of the practices to meet the learners with special needs, so that, like, for example, when you are buying books and we have learners who have visually impaired, think of getting books that with large font. When you are buying ICT equipment, we should take care of learners with special needs. Those who cannot see, let your computers have what we call the text-to-speech application, so that the computer will be talking to those learners who cannot see. That is what we mean by inclusive education. Then, since the resources are limited, ensure that teachers are innovative in getting the teaching aid instead of relying on buying, and those teaching might be recyclable, that is for sustainability. And also allocating appropriate teaching tools. I have talked about the ICT tools, especially in this area we are talking about digital literacy. Ensure that your institution are providing teachers with the appropriate teaching tools, and strengthening leadership in curriculum management through the HODs. They are the ones who are supposed to ensure that the right curriculum is offered and all the required documentation is done. And during implementation, there should be collaborative curriculum implementation and discussion. This is where now we call upon the teamwork, even in terms of team teaching. And also let the community be involved in curriculum implementation to become the coming handy, especially the parents, to empower them so that they can be able to support their runners during this area. So thank you very much, Group 2, for that. Now we go to Group 3, and I request Mr. Kisiru to moderate.
Thank you, Elijah. Let's have the secretary Group 3.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm the secretary Group 3, and we were talking about physical facilities and infrastructure. We mentioned that some of the physical facilities we have in our schools are classrooms. We have latrines, stroke toilet or board. We have stores, fields, laboratories. We have library, and also discussed about resource centers. Resource centers be like agriculture and nutrition rooms, computer rooms, creative art rooms, and so on. Implementation or ensuring that these are there, first of all, we say that you can have them through capitation, you can have them through well-wishers, donors, or fundraising for some of the physical facilities. We also say that once you have the physical facilities, you have to maintain them and ensure that they're in good order throughout. We also talked about that you have to do proper procurement for the facilities inside these, some of the rooms. So we have to equip them. We also say that you can benchmark with other schools to see what is required. And last, we say that you have to ensure that these physical facilities are safe for the learners. Thank you, that's what we discussed.
Thank you for that feedback. Thank you for that feedback, Group 3. And we want to appreciate the team for actually giving us appropriate feedback concerning infrastructure and physical facilities, and perhaps maybe to wrap it up, some of the, of course, indicators that could rightly fit into this particular dimension in line with what Madam has also actually put across is to ensure that there is adequacy, safety, and accessibility of the school facilities, like she's put it, that all physical facilities are adequate, they are safe and accessible for use by all the stakeholders with the school. Then there should be the repair and maintenance of school buildings and equipment over time, so that, of course, they always are in good shape, as well as the management of and disposal of obsolete equipment to maintain efficiency. So, of course, when we also procure this equipment, at the end of it all, when their life cycle is done, then it's also important that, of course, we also dispose them to ensure and maintain efficiency within the school environment. We should also ensure cleanliness and orderliness within the school environment, as well as, of course, ensuring that safety standards are met as outlined in national policies. It's also important that facilitate disability-friendly access through proper landscaping and infrastructure adjustments. Remember, our schools are in different locations and in different, of course, geographical environments. And based on their location, it is important to note that to ensure that, of course, we facilitate disability friendly, of course, movement by all the stakeholders. It is good that we ensure that we landscape our grounds to ensure that, of course, they can accommodate all the stakeholders irrespective of their backgrounds. And this will also call up, call upon the preparation of infrastructure that is adjustable to fit the needs of also these persons with different backgrounds. It's also important, of course, to also ensure that we collaborate with relevant government departments, and especially on matters environmental greening, to ensure that, of course, we also have some greening initiatives in the school environment. We also need to provide office space in the form of administration offices, learning facilities for our learners, including, of course, now the laboratories, the STEM laboratories and special rooms, as well as maintaining proper water and sanitation facilities that meet the prescribed ratios. You know that when we are looking at this particular dimension, one key focus area when we talk about physical facilities is like the provision of sanitation facilities like toilets. We know there is a prescribed ratio that is recommended, for example, by use by the boys and the girls. A ratio of 1 toilet to be used by 25 girls and 1 toilet or latrine to be used by 30 boys. And in each case, in the case of our girls, there must be a provision of her bathroom. And in the case of the boys, there must also be a provision of a urinal. So this is very, very key. And these are some of the indicators that are quite specific to this particular dimension, that anytime, of course, as a school leader, then these are not in place, then outrightly we can say things are not working right. But when you ensure that these sanitation facilities meet the standard and prescribed, of course, ratios, then of course this could come out clearly as a good indicator under this particular dimension. We should also conduct regular water testing and treatment. Of course, you know, water can be a source of problem when it is contaminated with the environment, the school environment. So let us ensure that we test our water regularly, and of course, we ensure hygiene and safety standards are met. Thank you, and I would like to now invite Group 4, and as well, I invite my colleague Elijah to moderate the last group. Over to you, Elijah.
So before you are dealing with the 2 dimension, you are dealing with learner welfare and community engagement. So group secretary, group 4.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am the secretary, group 4. In our group, we were looking at the learner welfare and the community involvement. The points our colleagues raised in the group were merged. Like we have the feeding programs in the school, especially in our area, in ASAL areas. The government also provide the school feeding programs, and this has assisted the learners in one way or another in curbing absenteeism in the schools, and also retention of learners in the school, and leading to performance, good performance. Another point is about students, leaders. Student leaders, they choose one another in leadership. They're involved in leadership in the school management, and they are able to hear their views, their challenges, and that one will also curb also disciplinary matters. The other point is on psychosocial support through guidance and counseling. For example, we have Office of the Curriculum Support, Career Support Services, the 4K clubs, which are also active in the schools, growing vegetables, and that can also supplement the school feeding programs, or the group can sell and get some little money. On pastoral programs of instructions, this one, especially during it is programmed in the school timetables after the lessons, and it also helps in assisting in behaviors, in discipline matters, and guiding the students. On open forums, where we engage with the learners, the parents, and the stakeholders like BOMs. The stakeholders engage one another on the school issues. On community engagements, likewise, parent meetings are done frequently, especially when there are challenges in the school, like for example, sitting facilities, to come up with maybe a way of getting the desks, and that one also support the learners. Community are fully engaged. The peer support on child to child, that one assist one another, and the learners are able to support one another through those forums. And lastly, on conducive environment of the school, making the school friendly and inclusive, ensure that there are ramps for the disabled to access the facilities, ensuring that also there is enough sanitation facilities through engagement with the well-wishers and the donors. We are able to maybe to get, for example, in our school, we were able to get good modern toilets from World Vision, and the environment is now conducive for the learners. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive. That group did a good job. You had the two dimensions and you're able to bring them out clearly. And the learners, so I'm only going to add two, whereby ensure that the environment is safe and inclusive, but you talked about the infrastructure that are learner friendly. They have both the stairs and lab. That include safe and inclusive learning environment, and also ensure that the compound is also safe. You talked about the issues to do with the feeding program, psychosocial support, including guidance and counseling and clubs, pastoral program, open forum. And all those are another idea is ensure that your school have co-curricular activities like games, drama, and music. And also the other aspect of learners' welfare, make sure that you track their attendance, their retention, and their academic progress to ensure that the school is achieving its objective. That is all what I can add when it comes to learners' welfare. On community involvement, you have talked about holding parent meeting, peer support, conducive environment, also about collaboration with this sponsor. I've given an example how World Vision has sponsored your school. So make sure that institution, you engage in what we call CSL, community service learning, whereby the learners will learn by engaging in activities in the community. When you're taking learners to sweep, they should be learning something. It is not just an activity, but we should have a lesson plan for that, because they are learning by offering service to the community. That is why we call it community service learning. And also, by when we're holding the parent meeting, you share the progress the school is making to the parent, so that the parent can be know on how the school is progressing. Also, have an outreach activity to ensure that those learners who are not coming to school are able to be traced. Outreach program is like marketing your school to increase the enrollment and to ensure that those learners who do not have an opportunity are able to come to your school for learning. And also give a chance for parents to participate in school activity when you have a fundraising or when you have an activity, maybe tree planting. Let the parent come to school and participate in those programs. And every year, make an effort of calling the community or parent, especially the parent, and give them the progress the school have made. And finally, make sure that you empower the parent so that they can be able to support the school in achieving its learning outcome. So thank you very much, all the groups, for your contribution. And that is what we are planning for breakout session. Now, I want us now to proceed to the next area on whereby you are supposed to prepare in your e-portfolio. That's something we discussed yesterday. We gave you a room to talk about the e-portfolio, but under this unit, you are supposed to develop a e-portfolio that demonstrates leadership in promoting of effective institutional governance and initiative. And the following is what we are supposed to consider. Yeah, we gave guidance on how you are supposed to go about to do this. And this one, these are the areas that evidence of implementation. If you want to see the evidence of implementation, governance structure, we are talking about junior school committee, resource management, how are you managing your resources, stakeholder engagement, are you calling them for a meeting, policy implementation, accountability and transparency. We need to, we talked about the accounting record, training capacity, evidence that there is capacity building of teachers, and governance outcome. And these are examples of what we will be looking at when they come to this area. That is, the artifact must be uploaded. The artifact must be uploaded in the blogger and well explained and well reflected. We shall be talking about the reflection later. Those are now the examples. Those are now examples of sample, examples of what we expect. So like this one is like a market scheme or a rubric. At the governance and structure, organization structure, TOL committee. When you are talking of TOL committee, some of these documents are private. You only need to see the front page. When you talk about the budget, don't upload the whole budget in our program. Anything you think is sensitive, like stakeholder meeting minute, don't upload them. You can only have the front page, but don't upload all the minutes. Annual report, the same thing. You can give us a cover. Notice board communication, you can have an image of your notice board. Financial disclosure report, we don't expect you to upload the report to us or the audit report. Those are confidential information and we can only need the evidence. And also a training attendance list, we can have a screenshot of it, not the whole of it. Training schedule, CPD certificate, because some of this information may be confidential. So you sample the one that you can upload. So under that is what you expect as evidence of your e-portfolio. So at the first many remarks, we conclude by saying that to talk about institutional based, we talk about institutional governance, you need to follow the lay down legal framework when you are managing your junior school, and you should also ensure that there is a quality assurance, especially the committee we talked about, to ensure that the curriculum is delivered as required and even the resources to ensure that there is a transparency and accountability. So thank you very much, and I hope when we come back, since it will be an extension of what we have learned, we shall be dealing with reflective journal, and they will touch briefly on how you are supposed to reflect when they come even to the artifact on the e-portfolio. So thank you very much. And let us meet in 20 minutes time, that is 11:20. Thank you. That is what we are talking about. That is what we are talking about, a reflective journal. So when you are writing the reflective journal, it is structured using the following format, whereby you are supposed to ensure that you do not write in bullet form. Your reflective should be in prose, continuous prose, and your insight should be allowed to 150 words. That is your personal adding journey. Remember, you are highlighting the journey that you have made in the course of this course. Key insight that you have gained should be allowed to 50, and then the application aspect should be allowed 150. Application is where now we are talking of skill acquired. Now, I want to open the floor to you so that you can give us your experience with the reflective journal that you'll be finalizing soon, because I believe that is something you have been doing throughout your learning. I want to hear from you how so far how you the mileage or the milestone you have covered in terms of reflective journal. Unmute and tell us, how have you structured your reflective journal so that we can be able to tell whether you are doing it the right way or you need to improve. So kindly save time by unmuting. We are going to give you 4 minutes. I expect the feedback from allowed 3 of you. So that is what until this session. We want to hear feedback from you. We have given you what we expect. We expect to hear the changes that have taken place in your behavior and in your practice. In simple terms, that is what we mean by reflective journal. What have changed in you as a head of institution, and how that change have impacted on your practice, that is application. Kindly unmute and give us an overview of your reflective journal or how you are planning to write it. For the sake of time, just unmute. Who is willing to give us an overview of his or her reflective journal? Maureen.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
As of me, intending to write on how it all started from the beginning as a school leader who had not gone through this training. And I'll be highlighting the differences between how I was operating before the training and after the training. I'll also highlight on how the knowledge I've gained through this training has empowered me as an individual to manage the school and the teachers and all the stakeholders. I'll also highlight on how I've been able to introduce programs through the guidance from this training in school that has enabled our school to move forward and also achieve better results than what has always been there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Masika, for that. I'm very happy with the way you have structured your reflective journal, and I'm looking forward to read it. It will be an interesting story. You want that you are going to be in how it all started. You'll paint a picture of how you are before the training, then the difference the training has made. That is before and after. Then the knowledge, how the knowledge has empowered you in a manner that you're able now to manage the staff, you're able to manage the stakeholders. You have mentioned including the teaching staff, and even the way you have been able to initiate programs like guidance and counseling and other programs that have enabled improvement of learning outcome in your school. Thank you very much. Now, let us hear from another person. Let us hear from another, especially from the other gender, men in the house. I want to hear how are you in third day? Because so is something you are supposed to have been doing throughout. At this time, you only need now to consolidate your thoughts. We are calling it a learning journey. So you started taking notes from day one. I want to hear from how are you going to structure it? I'm waiting for the feedback. Now, what are the rest planning to do? Adri from Kure, can you paint a picture of how your reflective journal will look like? Andrew? Kiabati? Is it that it's only Maureen who is aware of what is reflective journal is all about? Naftal, you have not talked today. Okay, Josephine.
Okay, I intend to write about the learning experiences, what I experienced during the actual learning, after which I will talk about, just like Maureen, compare what I was doing before the course and what I'm doing now, and then comment about the changes that are in place now. Yeah.
Now, a question I would like to pose to you, Josephine, how are you going to ensure sustainability of what you are doing now, even after the course?
Okay, learning is a permanent change. So I will ensure that I keep up with what I have learned, just change the wrong things that I was doing before, and ensure that I am on track.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Josephine, for that. Now, I want still to give, I want to hear, there's the time now we are learning how to write this reflective journal. So that, and I wanted to come from you, because this is now your personal experience. There's somebody whose mic was on. I was not able to capture his or her name. Somebody who wanted to say something. And I'm looking for a man in the house to tell us.
Yes.
Go on.
I think one of the areas that I would want to focus on is to have a reflective. I would be reflective on where I was and where I have come to now. And again, I would also look at the SWOT analysis. I had those weaknesses, and now I have the strengths. And then, and how are this one geared to achieving the goals of education, more especially the CPE 1? And then I also reflect on the practical skills that I've learned and adjust and improve accordingly, because it is now a continuous process, and we should now go back to, I'd go back to the implementation of the aspect that I've learned, so that it can be a continuous kind of process to improve and come up with the results-oriented outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nafa. There's something absolutely very important that we are going to embark on continuous improvement, so that yours will be result-based outcome. That is result-based outcome. This idea of continuous improvement is very important, because as I said, the training may come to an end, but how are you going to ensure there is continuous improvement even after? Meaning you are going to practice, and even you are going to engage in more training, not only this one, so that you continue enhancing your skill. Okay, another person. I hope now other members you are listening, because we are learning from each other. They are not going to have a slide on how to do it. This one does not have even a structure how to do it. It is you who was in class. You tell us who you were before, what you have learned, how it has changed you, and how you are going to do your things in your school going forward. That is what we call by the reflective journal. Another person. Who would like us to tell us his or her story, the learning journey? You know, I'm documenting what you are saying. You know, I'll have to, and I'll be looking at what you are going to post. As long as you are going to post this reflective journey, we need to hear what you are planning to do, so that what you are going to post will be something we can even write in our journal, and say that this is what the teachers that the head teacher who took the course gained. To be like success stories. Who is willing to say something? Who was that? Is it Helen? Who had? Who is willing to say something? Helen, your mic was on.
Not really.
Now, anybody else? So thank you very much for the three who have shared their insight. And I'm happy because all the three stories are aligning to the structure we are expecting. Whereby you are saying you are going to begin with where you are before joining the course, the skill you have gained, how they have changed you, how the skill you have gained have changed the practice in your institution. For example, if before you are not keeping the books of account, now you are going to buy those books of account to ensure that there is transparency in accounting, and how you are going to ensure continuous improvement. John, you can unmute.
Yes.
Go on.
I think I said on the basic journey,
Mm.
I think the issue of being more accommodative, especially involving the stakeholders, teachers, in the planning of the school activities, I think I've really improved on that. I think my school, I didn't have so many things in place, which currently, like the service data, the display board on capitation, I saw the importance of those things. And has really improved. It has helped by doing that and involving the parents and other stakeholders. My school had a very big shortage of classrooms, but I can assure you within these 4 months, just within 4 months, I have an extra of 6 classrooms in place, just by involving stakeholders. And let's come also to the issue of books of accounts. We have learned the importance, and at least by now, my books are audited. I think I go by now by the laws. I managed to purchase those law books with policies that help in governing the school, and I think I'll keep on improving. Yeah.
Thank you very much, John. You could have kept quiet and you have helped a lot of us.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You have also pointed out critical issues here, and thank you for saying what's happening in your school. You are saying you are through the stakeholder engagement, you have been even able to build 6 classrooms. That is very good. And I'm happy that this accountability and transparency, whereby now you are displaying information about your staff and capitation, you are notice board, that is very key. And also the issue of books of account being audited, that is very important. So those are the stories that you want to hear. Because if we happen to come to a school, at example, your school, and then you display such information, then that will be a very good story to tell how the effective school leadership transformed our head of institution. I believe, so John, when you are writing your success story, you tell us where you are before, what you learned, and how you utilized it to transform your school. So thank you very much, John. So of all of you have shared your ideas, and I'm happy because at least this course did not go to waste. It has transformed your institution. So let me briefly talk about that. Is the reflective journal that you are expected to write. That is personal learning journey, 250 words, application, 250 words. But remember, when you talk about reflection, the other artifact that you'll be putting in your e-portfolio, they need to be reflected also. And let me explain this as I come to the end of this session. When you put an artifact in an e-portfolio, one, you need to describe it. Describe what it entails. Then tell us how it came to happen. For example, if you put a photo of a laptop, describe the laptop and how it came to your school. Did you buy? Did you put it in the budget? Was it given by a donor? Then the second one, tell us what you are feeling if you did not have that laptop in your school. What you are feeling. Give your feelings. Like to you are feeling that the curriculum was not being implemented adequately. Then tell us, how are you going to trace that laptop towards improving the learning outcome? That is step number 3. How are you going to use that laptop to improving learning outcome? And then how are you going to sustain that laptop and others in your school? No laptop require maintenance, require update, require application. How are you going to ensure that it is utilized accordingly? So don't just put an artifact, but make sure that it is well reflected. That is for e-portfolio. Describe the artifact. Tell us what you are feeling if that incident did not happen or that incident happened. Tell us the application of the skill you have gained and how you are going to apply it, and then sustainability. I hope I have helped you in reflecting. So don't just post an artifact. Joel.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Now that you have explained to us what the artifact should look like, and
Yes.
some of us have finished, is there that provision for us to do some correction on the same?
I believe you can edit in your broker. You can go back, edit, because they're still available in your broker. The moment you edit, you update. That is the secret behind broker. Anytime you do an update, anytime you edit, go and look for the section of update and update so that you'll be able to see the changes that have taken place. So I believe you can go back, edit all your artifacts so that it can capture the new edition, but make sure that you update so that the link you send to us will be able to see the update. I hope I have helped you.
Yeah, you have.
So thank you very much, all of you. And if you don't have a question, remember we're having a closure session that is starting within the next 6 minutes. So thank you very much for that session on reflective. Jano?
I have a question.
Okay. Oh, go on.
On the same what I just asked. But for those of us who are going to edit our e-portfolio, and for those who have not completed, for those who have not completed the course, what is the deadline to completion of the same?
You'll give the way forward.
Okay.
Yeah, we are going to give you the way forward on completion date.
Okay.
Okay. So I would like, I'm through my session, so I'd like to request Mr. Kamau to tell us, we are heading to crucial session, how we are going to migrate to the new meeting now. Mr. Kamau.
Kindly give me a minute, I set you up. You go both into your groups, WhatsApp groups, and I also post in the chat box in the Zoom. So either it is in the WhatsApp group of your respective county or in the chat box, I will actually post the link for you to go. So what you shall do once you see that, you log out of the current link, so that we go to a unified meeting with other counties that are also in this program. Thanks a lot.
We have shared the updated Zoom on your WhatsApp groups. Kindly join the other Zoom. Exit this one. Obada, exit this Zoom and join the other Zoom meeting, kindly. Rhoda. Kiambati, Jocelyn, Madam Maureen.
The other one needs to be really joined.
Josephine, Judith, Kiambati.
Yes.
Exit the Zoom and join the one on your WhatsApp group.
Okay.
The new one I've posted.
Okay.
Kindly. Maureen Wasike, kindly exit. Yeah.